Alright, holy shit. Holy shit, BlazBlue Chrono Phantasma at EVO. Holy shit. That was one of the hypest fighting game tournaments that I've ever seen. I've watched a lot of them. That had me on the edge of my seat the entire time. I was literally like holding my breath during some pretty tense moments, shouting when certain shit went down. That was an absolutely phenomenal fighting game tournament, period. And by far the best BlazBlue tournament that I have ever seen. SG, I don't know if any of you people that are watching my videos, that watch my videos regularly, or if anybody that just happens to pass by this video, if you are up in the Pacific Northwest, if you're part of that community that SG is part of, give that dude a fucking ridiculous hug from me. Pretend that you are a 6.5 foot tall monster of a human being. Wrap your arms around that motherfucker and bear hug. Because he deserves it. That dude played out of his mind. The only American to make top 8. He played phenomenally. Amazingly. He beat Tsuchikawa. He beat Tsuchikawa, who he was on the top of a lot of people's lists to win the tournament. And he beat him. He took him out. Played amazingly. You can't take anything away from that dude. I'm severely impressed. Like, he's under a lot of people's radar because in general, when you think of like tournament BlazBlue and what gets exposure in America, it's basically either Northern California or New York, East Coast. There's really not very much that gets put out by other people. Pacific Northwest has an amazing scene with some great players, and Spark is obviously one of them. Spark is the most well-known, or at least was the most well-known. SG is now probably the most well-known, since I don't think Spark was even there. I don't know if he stopped playing BlazBlue or what's going on with him. But SG just got on a lot of people's radar, and he deserves it. That dude is amazing. Like, he's always been amazing. I still remember there was a tournament in NorCal, back when I used to regularly actually go out to tournaments. The Pacific Northwest came down to the tournament, and a bunch of SoCal came up to the tournament, and I ate the biggest ass whooping I have ever suffered at the hands of a Lychee in my life to SG. So I knew that dude was a high quality player, but he played better than I have ever seen him play in that tournament, and it was amazing. I honestly feel like the break and just like the adrenaline dump that would have happened between quarter and semifinals over the top 8 actually hurt him. Because if he had been able to continue on that momentum, I really feel like he would have done a lot better. He still did great, and I can't take anything away from Dora. Dora played out of his damn mind, and he got top 3 because of it. But, oh my god, SG, all the praise to you in the world, brother. You played phenomenally. Only American in top 8, congratulations. You earned that shit. Played amazingly. You know what else makes me fucking happy as hell? Lord Knight, who was talking shit about how Lychee just doesn't work, and tear hopped like a bitch. That's right, I'm talking shit, and I'm happy to. Tear hopped like a bitch and got his ass kicked. SG, who stayed loyal to his character, I'm gonna get into more of that in a bit. Pain, yeah. SG got top 8, only American. Kudos to you. So let's talk about Pain. The best Kokonoe in NorCal. Pretty much taking all the NorCal tournaments. Like, I haven't been really watching the local streams lately for at least the past couple of months, so I don't know if he has continued to basically win every single NorCal tournament. But he was winning a lot of them. There was a point in time where he won like 5 tournaments in a row or some shit in Northern California. So he was extremely good. For those of you who may not remember, Pain was a former New 13 player. Who did he get kicked out by? Yoshiki, the New 13 player. No, he lost to I'm sorry. He lost in winners to Yoshiki, and then lost to Tiku in losers, and I'm gonna get on Tiku in a second. But still, the irony there is the same thing. Decided that Kokonoe was a better character. He had better chances with Kokonoe. Ran man with Kokonoe lost to his former main. Not taking anything away from Yoshiki, obviously. Yoshiki is... Whoa, Yoshiko, the female. I'll get into that, too. Like, it's... Oh, my God. I could probably go on for longer than the tournament went on about how amazing and hype... Let me stop here for a second just so I don't forget. Let's talk about how damn hype Dora versus Yoshiki was versus trying to switch the announcer. Fucking changing the vibration settings. Oh, that was amazing. I died. That was fantastic. Alright, sidebar over. Back to the tournament. So top 8, for those of you, maybe you're just watching this for a recap. Top 8 winners were Galileo, who obviously plays Lychee, Dogura, Azriel, Yoshiki, New 13, and why does this one always slip my mind? Ino, Rachel. Those were the 4 players in top 8 on the winner's side. The 4 players on the loser's side, the aforementioned SG with Lychee, Tiku with Tager. Surprised me on that one. Like, I thought the moment Grandia was like, ah, shit, I can't come to EVO, I was like, oh, well, we're not seeing any Tager. Tiku, I owe you an apology. You, my brother, are a man among men, and I will talk more about his wonderfulness in a bit. So we have SG Lychee, Tiku Tager, Dora Bang, and god damn it, I need to... That is terrible. I'm sorry, other Azriel player. Was his name like... Fuck. I forgot his name. I'm so sorry. You deserve better than this. Tochigen, Azriel. That was the 4 on the loser's side. So they're so the character breakdown: 2 Azriels, 2 Lychees, and then Rachel, New, Bang, and Tager. I thought Dogura was fucked. Because in the winner's side, every single character on the winner's side is a difficult matchup for Azriel. He did draw the best pick for who we could fight first with New 13, because while it is difficult as all hell for Azriel to get in on New 13, once he does get in, New 13 is practically helpless. And that's basically how Dogura won. Like, Dogura lost some very close matches the first round, and then he comes back in the second match and just destroys him. Like, he figured out his defense, and he just destroyed Yoshiki. It hurt to watch. He made it a lot closer in the third match, but yeah, the second match, Dogura dominated. Like, every single thing he threw out hit. It hurt. And that's basically how the matchup goes. Like, Yoshiki would run away, play, you know, do his best to get combos here and there, do some little piddly damage, and sometimes it would work out. But the moment Dogura got in, Azriel would go bonkers. And so because of that, you know, Dogura ended up winning. It was still a close match. Like I said, great match. I cannot give... Like, Yoshiki made New enjoyable to watch, which was something I never thought I would say. I have always hated that character, but he plays New amazingly. I should say. For those of you that may not be aware of the story behind that, basically the American people, I don't know if it was like the EVO organizers, if it was IGN or whatever, they misspelled his name. And so instead of being Yoshiki, they spelled it as Yoshiko. And Ko is apparently a very feminine end to a name in Japan. So like, Japan blew up, talking shit all about it. Yoshiki showed up dressed as a female with a long ass blonde wig. It was amazing. Like, I love people who can just make fun of themselves like that. That was fantastic, hilarious, absolutely amazing. All the shot that dude earned a fan. Dude earned a fan. But let's talk about Ino. He was basically my top 3 to win. Galileo first, because he's fucking Galileo, and Galileo did end up winning, though it was very, very tough spots at times. It looked like he was gonna lose at a few occasions. Galileo was my first pick, Ino was my second pick, and Dogura was my last pick, was my third pick. Ino got bopped. 0-2 in top 8. First he lost to Galileo easily. Galileo destroyed him. And then he lost to Dora. Like I said, Dora played out of his damn mind. But yeah, like, Ino I thought was the biggest danger to Dogura in general, just because of how bad the matchup of Rachel versus Azriel is. I feel like that's one of, if not the worst matchups for Azriel. Dogura, I think, argues that Carl is Azriel's worst matchup, which I can also see, but I feel like Rachel has better tools in order to get away than Carl does, so it's kind of like, yeah, the matchup versus Carl is ridiculously tough, and it's very difficult, but Rachel has an easier time resetting neutral where she destroys Azrael, whereas Carl, like, once you're in, you're in. So anyway, Galileo destroyed Eno. Dogura kind of delivered an ass beating in winners finals to Galileo. I thought, you know, Galileo just did not play like he did versus Eno. In losers side, like I said, Dora versus SG. Dora played out of his mind, and he won because of it. Same thing as Eno, just kept playing out of his mind, made it to losers finals. Tico played Tochigen first. I thought Tico was done. Tico is like the epitome of what you need to be as a player in order to succeed as a low tier character. His confirms off of like every single hit. Amazing. Optimal combos every single time. Just like off of random stray hits, and he would always get the optimal combo. His hit confirms were extraordinary. I will never be able to do that. I will never be that good. But he did it. His defense was some of the best I've ever seen. He blocked everything Azrael threw out. You know how hard it is to block Azrael? Everything he has is so deceptive in general. He blocked everything. His defense was amazing and his reads were phenomenal. Tiku is just, again, Yoshiki and Tiku were two players that I had never heard of before EVO. And they just both got a new fan because they were, oh my god, they were amazing. But unfortunately, Tiku did then run into Yoshiki. And that was just a matchup he couldn't get past. That is just not... That has always been one of Tager's worst matchups. And it continues to be that way. And Yoshiki played it perfectly and won. Ended Tiku's run. Made it very sad. Very, very sad. But then Dora beat Yoshiki. But then Galileo woke the fuck up. Galileo woke up and he came back, and it was the hypest grand finals that I've ever seen in my life. That moment at the end of the round, I think it was match point, tournament point for Dogura. Like, I can't, it may have been 1-1 at that point. I can't remember, but I think it was match point and Dogura was winning, and there were like 6 seconds left on the clock. And he was just kind of running away, like really being very, very careful, very safe, not throwing anything out unnecessarily, and just looking for his spot to hit. And it looked like he was going to time him out. And then Galileo got the hit. Fucking hell. Like, that was the moment where I was holding my breath, and I was like, oh my god! It's too much! That entire grand finals, I really hope that gets posted somewhere. And that gets, like, the 5 million views it deserves, because I really feel like a grand finals like that, with the hype it provided, I'm very glad that both Jay and Dacidbro stopped explaining everything, because obviously it started out there were around 30,000 at the start of top 8 of BlazBlue. There were around 30,000 viewers. By the end, it had peaked at 75,000. Ton of people looking in. Obviously, not all of these people are BlazBlue players. Not all of these people know what's going on in BlazBlue. So they spent quite a bit of the start of like the first 4 or 5 matches of top 8 basically explaining like the basic mechanics. And I feel like that kind of took away from the matches somewhat. But it's something you have to do. You're on the main stage of EVO. You have tens of thousands of people who probably don't know shit about this game tuning in, watching it, seeing this amazing hypeness. And I hope that the tournament brings in an influx of players, because it was just, like I said, that was pure hype. And that's one thing I've always struggled with in BlazBlue. Like, I enjoy it, I enjoy playing it, I enjoy watching it, but it's never really gotten me like to the levels of hype that it did today, where I am sitting there, where I am, it's taking my breath away, where I'm holding my breath because the moment is so tense and I don't even realize it. Those kind of moments, I feel like BlazBlue has been missing, and CP provided them. This tournament provided them. So I really hope this gets an influx of interest into BlazBlue, because it deserves it. After a tournament like that, it deserves the shit out of it. I'm sure there are probably going to be well, no. I was going to say, I'm sure there are going to be a lot of people bitching about Azrael, but Azrael didn't win. He should have. Damn, Dogura had Galileo on the ropes repeatedly. And Galileo came back every time. Every time. Galileo is one of the... He won the Arc Revolution tournament. The first one. Galileo is definitely the best player in the world right now. There's no taking that away from him. He deserves the title of best player in the world in BlazBlue right now. I'm just so happy there weren't any Kokonoes. You know what did make me sad, though? There was practically no Valkenheim representation. Absolutely no Taukaka representation. There is that player Kiba from Europe. I don't know very much about him because I don't really pay attention to Europe's scene, but I do know of him because one of the... I don't know if you still watch my videos, but Lord Spectre X is a guy that used to watch my videos, and he's an Azrael player, and he has talked about how tough the matchup was because of how his experience versus Kiba. So I know of Kiba, but he was really the only Valkenheim representation. Like I said, no Taukaka representation whatsoever. So it is a little sad overall that like a lot of characters were just basically discarded and thrown away. It's unfortunate, but still, like I think the character diversity in top 8 was a lot better than a lot of people expected. I don't think anybody expected top 8 to be completely devoid of Kokonoe, to have a Tager. God, Tiku is my hero. Seriously, like, I was so disappointed when I heard Grandia wasn't coming over anymore. Once I heard that, like, you know, he had to work or whatever, the reason was that he couldn't come. I was so disappointed because I wanted to see Tager take some damn names on people, and so people could really see what a great player could do with Tager. Like, they just wouldn't expect it. Nobody has experience in America against a high-quality Tager. A high-quality Tager doesn't exist. And Tiku proved me the fuck wrong. I didn't think there was anybody else. Grandia was the best Tager in my mind. Tiku might be better. I would love to see like a shit ton more matches of both Grandia and Tiku and see how they fare against various players, because Tiku amazed me. So overall, I mean, that tournament was just amazing. I'm very, very happy with the way it turned out. Even, I mean, think of me as a person and my history with BlazBlue, and then look at the character representation. Could you ever imagine me as happy about that in past representations of games? Lychee, one of my most hated characters. I hate that bitch. Loved every match she was involved in. New 13. Hate her. Fuck that character. Yoshiki wowed me. Rachel? Hate her too. Hate that character. Inno makes her hype. It's just all these things that you would think would be kind of like stacked up to make me hate it. And I loved every damn moment. If you missed it, then I hope to God that it all ends up on YouTube somehow. I wish I actually figured out, I was kind of testing it in the meantime. I can actually record. Open Broadcaster software does allow me to record shit that is directly on my computer screen. So technically I can capture that shit. But I don't think I'm ever going to do that, because that's basically kind of like stealing footage and like uploading it for my own usage. I don't know. I mean, obviously I would get in trouble for that too, because it's not my content. It's not like, you know, I mean, obviously it's been, I'm kind of done talking about EVO, so if you're not interested in this part of the conversation, you can feel free to wander off, because I'm done talking about EVO. But obviously it's been kind of muddy, and it just keeps getting a little bit muddier as time goes on in regards to, you know, game developers and how they feel about Let's Plays and recording game content. The fighting game community and the fighting game developers are hugely supportive of this. Hugely. The only one that I am aware of that provided any kind of like difficulty, any kind of difficulty to this whole process was Nintendo. And that was just Nintendo being Nintendo. They cracked down the hardest on this entire thing. But still, you know, Smash ended up at EVO, so obviously they came to some kind of agreeable terms. But then, you know, that's obviously, you know, like I said, it's been kind of muddy. Nobody's really sure about, you know, how copyright law handles it, because copyright law is very vague, especially in terms of using content where it's like your own experience but with somebody else's instrument. But just imagine if, like, I'm sitting here. The way I kind of see it is like if I'm sitting here, just pretend for a second I am a musical genius, musical mastermind, and I'm sitting here with a guitar, with a Strata. What the? Why can I not think of? It is. I don't want to. Okay, it is Stratocaster. Okay, so I did remember it, but for some reason the Fender was the bit. Fender was what was kind of tweaking me up. Just pretend I'm sitting here with a Fender Stratocaster guitar in my hand, playing the living shit out of it, playing my heart out. And then I get contacted by the Stratocaster, and they say, "Hey, your music's amazing. Love it. Fantastic. You're a very entertaining individual. But I'm going to need you to not use my Stratocaster in your videos because that is the tool that I created myself. And that is my property. And you cannot use it in that manner." It's basically kind of the... I mean, it's obviously different because you are using the majority of your footage. You know, like in music, the majority of the content is what you created yourself. Is the sounds coming out of the sounds you were able to bring out of it. But it's still similar in my mind because this is your experience in their world. Especially on top of it, if you're providing commentary, if you're, you know, just doing, if there's no commentary involved, then it definitely gets iffy. But I feel like if you're providing the commentary, you're basically doing like a running review, basically, of the game the entire time, then it's not, I went way too long on that. Anyway, point being, it's very muddy in regards to that. But in regards to just recording somebody else's stream and putting it up on YouTube, there's nothing muddy about it. I just stole that content and I put it on YouTube. And I know I'd get copyrighted by IGN like immediately. They've been doing that to I know they did that last year to a lot of YouTube videos that got put up of like top 8 content and stuff, which sucks because as far as I remember, IGN only posted like grand finals or top 3 of the tournament rather than everything. And I feel like, you know, like if you're gonna put it up yourself and you want to be like, hey, take that down, we're gonna put it up, this is our content, obviously you should be respectful of that. But if you're not gonna put up the content yourself, you shouldn't be cock blocking other people wanting to make that content available. I feel like that's a pretty dick move. So anyway, after that ridiculous tangent, I really truly hope that I get to a point in my life where I will be able to go to an EVO of my own, because I really it kind of sucks where like I was going to tournaments constantly when I never should have. It was a terrible idea. I really flat out didn't have the money to be doing it. It was just a bad idea all around. Like I was sacrificing other kind of vital things in life solely so I could go and get my jollies off. And so now, when I do actually have, you know, I've become far more fiscally responsible. I do actually have the bank account where like it would allow me to indulge in this hobby. I no longer have the time. And it sucks. It switched it around on me. It just complete 180 on me. And so I really hope that does change, because obviously EVO is the biggest stage of them all. To go and experience it myself would be fantastic. To go and be able, like, if I could, you know, if I could have been there and kind of like tag teamed commentary with these dudes, like we switch out every match or something, and then obviously I would hand over, like grand finals, I would definitely hand over the mic to both of them, because James J is just, you know, obviously he's an employee. Well, he used to be an employee of Access Games. I'm sure he still is, because why would you give up that gig? And he's far more knowledgeable about the game than I am. Dacid Bro is hyper than I am, and also probably more appropriate in general than I am. But just to be able to be there and like commentate, fuck, that'd be amazing. Notice how I'm not even talking about being able to be there and play. I know I'm not good enough. I don't put in the time necessary, but just to go there and like experience EVO, just be there kicking it, watching that shit live, being part of that shit live, that'd be amazing. That'd be an experience that I would definitely enjoy. So anyway, that is enough of that. Y'all listen to me ramble on long enough. I'm glad they had Killer Instinct afterwards, so I had time to do this. I'm actually not looking forward to Marvel at all. But do let me know if you kind of enjoyed this at all. And if I should do kind of more stuff like this. I don't know how much people would care about me doing kind of like opinion pieces, I guess, or shit like this. Or if you would rather just, you know, like, hey, shut the fuck up and stick to losing at fighting games, asshole. If that's what you want, I'll give that to you. So I hope y'all enjoy the rest of EVO. Well, actually, I won't be posting this until a while later. So I hope y'all enjoyed the rest of EVO. Street Fighter, I feel, is going to be ridiculously hype. Man, I could go on and on for Street. That was a poorly managed. They ran all the way from pools to top 8 on one stream. They had one stream running the entire time from pools to top 8. They missed so many moments. Nobody saw Infiltration's losses. Nobody saw Daigo's losses. Fucking Mike Ross got 17th place. Mike Ross! Who doesn't fucking love Mike Ross? Everybody loves Mike Ross! And that dude had one match of his streamed at like the very beginning of pools against some random terrible El Fuerte player. I shouldn't be too judgmental. That El Fuerte would beat me. But yeah, against some random El Fuerte player, and we never saw him on stream again. And that guy got 17th place, and none of his matches from top 256 to 17th place to finally getting pushed out of the tournament were put on stream. That's so many matches just completely discarded that nobody's ever going to be able to see unless you were physically standing there and watching the screen. That's absurd. That's ridiculous. And whoever planned out the schedule that way to make it so there weren't like 2 or 3 streams constantly streaming everything, all of these 2,000 fucking players of Street Fighter should get punched in the mouth. Whoever made that decision, whoever organized that schedule, just needs to eat a kick to the nuts, a punch to the kidney, another punch to the solar plexus, maybe break some fucking floating ribs, punch people straight in the goddamn Adam's apple. Just do everything you possibly can to make this motherfucker understand the misery of missing out on all those epic fucking moments that would have happened that we will never see. Holy shit! That deserves. I could go off, and that practically deserves a video of its own. But seriously, fuck whoever did that. I don't want to hear bullshit about time constraints, about resource constraints. You are EVO. You are growing bigger and bigger every single year. You cannot keep the same exact type of schedule every single year when you are continuing to grow. If your resources stay the same, but the entries and, you know, the participants and everything just keeps growing and growing, you are going to get outgrown. And we saw that this year with Street Fighter. It was unacceptable for everybody to be missing all of those matches, for it to only be on one stream all day long. It's also, I mean, that's not even getting into the players themselves. Some of these fucking players had to wake up at 7 a.m. Actually, even earlier than that. Like, if you want to wake up and be, like, ready for a competitive mindset, to be ready to actually, like, play a fighting game on a high level, you gotta at least have a couple hours of awake time to kind of, like, you know, shake off the cobwebs and shit. Starting at 8 in the morning, finishing at 10 p.m., and you have been playing high level, edge of your seat, I might be knocked out of this tournament at any given time. You've been playing that level of Street Fighter for over 12 hours. That's ridiculous. It's, oh god, they handled Street Fighter in the worst way possible. The only way it could have been worse is if they just didn't stream it at all. That is the only possible way. So anyway, that was off on a 5-minute tangent. Now I'm fucking done, and now I'm fucking angry. But that's enough of that. Hope y'all enjoyed the rest of EVO. I hope everything else matches the hype. of BlazBlue. I gotta admit, I'm not even moderately excited for Marvel. Like, this is the first year where I just couldn't care less about Marvel, and that kind of sucks. Getting to that point where it's like, this used to be my favorite game to play. This used to be my favorite game to, you know, work on, try and figure out. This is the game that honestly pushed me above the level of, like, thoroughly average and kind of just generally terrible overall. My mindset in general, that was the game that kind of fixed it, and I finally kind of, you know, saw some really good growth in myself as a fighting game player. And to get to a point where, like, I don't even care about it. Like, if I could miss it, I could just not watch it entirely and I wouldn't care. And getting to that point, kind of, it sucks. The realization that that's the mentality about it now, that kind of sucks. But what are you going to do? Hype has to run out eventually. So, yeah, that's that. Hope y'all enjoyed it. Peace.